Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What a great night to talk about sports, in particular Wrestlemania. This is Clean Pin. Clean Pin is the wrestling podcast section of the Thomas Sports Show, talking about wrestling, and we are talking about WrestleMania 42 full card and predictions. Wait, full card predictions as the road to WrestleMania has, well, it's come to a end. It's come to a stop. It has left us in Vegas for a second year in a row. And next year, for anyone, unless you have crazy amounts of money or you live in Saudi, next year, WrestleMania is going to be in the Saudi. Not going to be able to go to it. If you're able to go to WrestleMania personally, with the way the pricing is, God bless. You are able to make a mortgage payment for a wrestling ticket. That's insanely priced. Look, personally, I remember being able to go to MSG. This is years and years ago, right? At 45 right now. I'm 45, but back then MSG used to do a lot of house shows with the WWF at the time and WWE. Those were affordable back then, and now times have changed where getting a wrestling ticket, heck, maybe you might even say getting any type of sporting ticket is a insane amount. Gone are those days, right? Those carefree days where you're just able to not even think about going to a wrestling show and sacrificing a mortgage payment. Those days are gone. Those tickets when we went to the MSG house shows, very affordable. Now, it's just crazy to think about it. I don't think the common Joe is able to get to these wrestling events. It's a big sacrifice. All right, like even like baseball tickets in itself, right? That's you do the math. Like for the Yankee game, I'm a big Yankee fan. Tickets cost parking last year was $50, right? $50. This is like right across the street from Yankee Stadium where you don't have to worry about all that nonsense getting to the car and all that whatever goes on around Yankee Stadium. Garage right across, $50, right? So that was the parking. The tickets were another $50 each, and this is not like this is upper deck 50, family of four, 50 times four times the parking. Insane. Insane. That's the times that we're in. Hey, look, listen, for what it's worth, personally now, being that I go to less of these games and wrestling shows, sometimes the best seat is right in your own living room, right? I know, going there, for me, going to an event, it's more about the atmosphere, more so much that's what you're going there to experience. You're there with fans of, equal likes like you. You know, they might like the same wrestler. They might like the same sports player. You're there for a common reason, for a common love of whatever you're watching, for the atmosphere. But usually, you know, you're at your best comfort and for watching purposes at home, as opposed to the stadium. So, I mean, you know, take that for what it's worth. Nonetheless, I am babbling. Let's get into WrestleMania 42, as I have the card up here to my left. WrestleMania 42 Night 1 match card. And I'm just going to go over this briefly, try to be as brief as possible. Please do subscribe if you're new here. Do you like the new logos that I revamped along with the profile picture? We're going to do some good things here for this year, I promise. I know I've been always saying that. We're going to roll out these podcasts more frequently. I know it's all about the talk. I got to do it. I've been saying is you put them out on a consistent basis. It's just time sometimes. Finding the time is the hard part, if you know what I mean. So we get so busy. So busy. Anyway, night 1, WrestleMania 42. No particular order. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Ice Show Speed versus the Usos and LA Knight. Man, where has Paul Heyman been with the Vision lately, right? With Logan Paul and Austin Theory. He's kind of left them to the side. And he's been, well, you know, one could say that he has more important fish to fry, more bigger fish to fry. He has his hands full there with Brock Lesnar and going up against Obafemi. So he's on Brock. No, I just haven't seen Paul Heyman with the Vision. And I think the Vision come after WrestleMania is going to be looking a little bit stronger, a little bit better. Do expect Braun Breaker to be back shortly thereafter. Maybe even the Raw after WrestleMania. Maybe you know, sometime thereafter. So you're going to have a little bit of a reboof, little surge of energy for the Vision. But Logan Paul, Austin Theory, I Show Speed. I Show Speed kind of thrown in here because of his carelessness. He's kind of forced to be with the bad guys, so to speak. And I Show Speed showing up his kind of reluctancy. Reluctancy. Why do we have an I Show Speed here at first place? I mean, there's I mean, couldn't we put in someone else instead of I Show Speed with the with Logan Paul and Austin Theory, someone that has a conflict with LA Knight? You know, I'm sure you could have maybe thrown in someone. Absolutely, you could have. You know, think of who maybe. I don't know. Maybe a Rusev. And I know Rusev has something else going on, but you know what I mean. You could throw in someone in like that. I get ISO Speed is a you know, celebrity. Well, not a celebrity. He's a streamer. He gets many views and so on and so forth. He's a genuine wrestling fan. He's athletic. Did you see how high he jumps? I get all of that. Oh, ISO Speed, I'm watching ISO Speed stream. Oh, ISO Speed is on this thing called WrestleMania. Let me watch. I get it. He created a viral moment last year with Braun Breaker. I get that too. All right. I mean, if we got to throw him in there, you got to keep him in there, I guess. But, you know, there's enough of a story between just Logan Paul and Austin Theory versus the Usos. You know, you got to give LA Knight something to do. I get all of that. I mean, I just if you're doing it two nights, I'm sure you could have somehow maybe even squeezed an LA Knight to have a single match. I mean, he's popular enough. It's like WWE is. It's almost like there's a ceiling with LA Knight. They just want to. Yeah, they push him up to a certain point, and they're not going to go in further with that. It seems like, but he still gets the reactions. Yeah, I just don't know. I guess what it comes down to, this whole thing with ISO speed in this match. I get it, but look, LA Knight, Logan Paul, Austin Theory, ISO speed versus the Usos. LA Knight. I think it's going to be Logan Paul and Austin Theory and ISO speed taking the victory over the Usos. LA Knight. Now that Braun Breaker's slowly looks like he's back from his injury. Bronson Reed somewhere down the line kind of need to make that vision, bring the vision back to life, make him powerful again, make him in the light, keeping gold in that faction is something. I think that's important. I don't think the Usos need the championship. Um, give me Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and ISO Speed with the win. The LA Knight accidentally hitting one of the Usos, which will then bring up, see him hitting Jey Uso. LA Knight hitting Jey Uso by accident, causing Theory, Logan Paul, ISO Speed to pick up the victory. Sets up a feud for Jey Uso, LA Knight down the road. That's match 1. Match 2, Jacob Fatu, Drew McIntyre, unsanctioned match. Anything goes. Expect stairs, flying TV monitors, flying chairs to be going in every direction. That to have Jacob Fatu back after he fixed his teeth. Drew McIntyre has been on this bad luck. You might argue he had the championship, lost it just as quickly as he won it. Jacob Fatu's what? I believe this is his first WrestleMania, right? First WrestleMania for Jacob Fatu. Single star. Got himself in real good shape from what I've been hearing on Busted Open. He was at the dungeon just putting in the work, trying to give his best showing possible. These two guys are just meat slapping against meat. These two guys, right? Just absolutely, they do not like each other at all. And I like the promo coming out of SmackDown today, right? Where Jacob Fatu's on top of the cop car, and he's saying, "Listen, you bring this up, Drew McIntyre, but this is my past. This is behind me." And I think, and the way I just like the way that promo was delivered today, right? That promo was delivered um, with just absolute calm. There was calm in his voice. It's not screaming it. It's not shouting it. It was just talking, and talking slowly and effectively. It was very effective. Um, I see Jacob Fatu with the victory. With a match like this, you kind of think that unsanctioned should be the end all be all, end all be all type of a thing. Um, but I don't think this is far from the end of it between these two. There is still more to go in this story. Give me Jacob Fatu with the victory. Women's World Championship, Stephanie Valkyr versus Liv Morgan. Wow. Did you see on Raw, did you see how, what's the word I'm looking for? That look in the eye of um, Liv Morgan, how insane she looked. The facials of Liv Morgan just brought this match up to another um, intensity. Right? You might say, well, listen, when you insult Dirty Dom, that's what Stephanie did weeks and weeks ago. That's you went to a place where you can't come back from now, right? Insulting Dirty Dom. Um, Look, a tale of it's got real personal. Let's just say that it's gotten personal where you think that they have no reason. How can you? They made it personal. Um, you throw in now, I think in this match you're gonna see, Raquel Rodriguez is doing her own thing, but you inserted Roxanne Perez. She's returning back. Stephanie Valcourt. I haven't. Is it just me or have? I mean, Stephanie. She's, I think, held the championship. Um, well, she has had good matches. Um, and I think Liv Morgan is her most, you know, challenging opponent to date. You have Dirty Dom, who's always there in the background. What's going on with Judgment Day now? Dominic Mysterio, like the de facto leader, I guess. Stephanie Valcour. I think she's bit off a little bit more than she could chew. Roxanne Perez there, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan. Um, and I just look, Liv Morgan, she, from not, was kind of, I think, on the way to a reign there with the championship before she got injured. That I thought that would be it would be in the near future with her back then when she got injured. She came back. She's been on a roll last couple of years. Um, Especially after that WrestleMania. Ever since that WrestleMania in Philadelphia, the day after, she's just been on fire in general, put herself in a lot better position than she was before, right? Before she wasn't even in WrestleMania. Now, one of the featured acts. I think you're going to see physical match, but I think you're going to see Liv Morgan with the victory over Stephanie Valkyr. I think the Judgment Day, Roxanne, um, Dirty Dom is going to stick his head in this one. It's just going to be too much. It's going to be too much, especially after Stephanie just attacked Liv Morgan in the back. knocking Liv Morgan into Roxanne, if I remember correctly, in the backstage there. Oh, she bit off more than she could chew, and Stephanie Valcour. Um, it's going to be interesting to see how Stephanie's chasing after the championship. Give me a Liv Morgan. AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. See, with AJ Lee, it's kind of hard. I don't know. She ain't here a lot. She's here maybe frequent, but not a lot. Just kind of every few weeks she's here and then she's not for me. These two have, I don't know, their husbands fought against each other, so I thought coming into this series or this matchup for WrestleMania, I thought it would be a little bit more personal, a little bit more oomph to the match, a little bit more intensity. They tried to bring it in with your what's the tagline that AJ Lee says? I'm your favorite wrestler, right? Does that make sense? I think that's how it was. AJ Lee just being the OG. And Becky Lynch, does Becky Lynch need a title? Does AJ Lee need a title? None of them do. I just, I just can't see, AJ Lee with the championship. I think this was kind of like a nice kind of moment that WWE wanted to give AJ Lee and CM Punk. Both at the ring together. Taking that beauty shot with both of them being the champions at the same time. Um, I just see Becky Lynch winning this champion match. Becky just, you know, has more. AJ Lee has more ring rust than Becky Lynch. I don't think, at the end of the day, after being out for so long, I don't think AJ Lee is going to be able to hang with Becky Lynch. I don't think that's going to be possible. Um, and I think Becky Lynch has been felt disrespected, um, but by the fans, even by her own daughter, little Ruby, disrespecting Becky Lynch. So you know what? I'm going to say Becky Lynch wins the championship, um, and while she wins in that course of the match, she endures AJ Lee. Thus, AJ Lee is going away for a couple of months, and we're going to have the reign of Becky Lynch to deal with. Nia Jax and Lash Legend versus Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria versus Nikki and Brie Bella. Things to remember here. I don't know even if the Bella twins are going to be able to um, make it through. So I don't know if Nikki is cleared. Now, for what it's worth, I am not going to mention it. I'm not going to spoil it. But I did hear a rumor as to someone that was apparently um, with that's apparently back with WWE, just recently signed. Apparently, that it's big hush hush. It's not been made public, and if this is true, then it kind of would kind of be a spoiler as to, I think, maybe what is happening as far as Nikki and Brie Bella. So that's something just to keep in the back of your mind. Now, if you know, you know. I don't know what it means. I'm not putting it together. I'm just having that in the back of my mindset. So that's something that's there. Look, these women tag team championships just have never been. They try to be meaningful. Um, it's really a hard time with these titles. I don't. These tag titles in general, women and I don't even think the men's tag team championships are on the line for what it's worth. I don't think that's even on the line. Just to give you an idea, a picture of the tag team situation for both divisions. But one might argue that it's better for the women's division than it is for the men's. Especially now with NXT, you have a lot of the woman talent. I think is far more. There's far more woman talent in NXT than there is men's talent, and with call-ups, I think this is helpful with what NXT has, because it could help. I think the women's tag team division, it could help it a lot, and maybe bring some good feuds out of it. Heavens forbid, good feuds in a tag team division. But look, the women's tag team division and women's wrestling and NXT and Evolve, I think it's plentiful where it would benefit the main roster. So nonetheless, right? So I think that's a positive for the tag team division going forward. Bailey and I'm looking at it. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. Bailey has had her ups and downs with the lack of being on WrestleMania. Lyra Valkyria, fairly new. There's a mentor-student relationship with that going on there. Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss has helped Charlotte Flair find Charlotte Flair again. Nia Jax, last legend. The rookie from NXT has decided to team up with Nia Jax. They become tag team champions. Looking at the card, I think that might be all of the women's tag division to begin with. I think they left out Kiana James. Well, Kiana James, man. Wish that she could be on this card somehow. It doesn't look like she's on it at all. But Kiana James and Julia doesn't look to be on this card either. Could have thrown them in there as well. Maybe replacing Kiana and well, that wouldn't work because it's going to say just replace them. Nikki and Brie Bella. I got the name recognition between Nikki and Brie Bella, but do they need the match? I get it. Hall of Famers, yada yada yada. Look, I think it's a nice story with Charlotte. That story, between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss is nice. But that's going to end horribly between the two. I think those two are eventually going to break. Going to be a nice story to tell. Going to be a nice story to tell. Look, I think it's going to be Nia Jackson, Lash Legend, keeping the championship and building a story, building dominance. which is going to help elevate this women's tag team division. The longer of a story you could tell between, two teams, the better it is. So I think, the team that will get pinned is Charlotte. I think Alexa Bliss will get pinned by Lash Legend. That's going to bring in, a storyline to the next pay-per-view, which eventually, Bliss and Charlotte Flair going in for the rest of 2026, possibly a SummerSlam, could be a good story to tell. So I think it will be Nia Jax and Lash Legend over, Charlotte and Alexa, Bayley and Valkyria, and the Bella Twins. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Man. How much do we hate Gunther, right? Damn it, Gunther. He took away our Gunther took away our AJ Styles. Took him away. He retired John Cena. Took him away. And now he's going to fight Seth Rollins. Can he take Seth Rollins away? Personally, with his many incarnations, Seth Rollins. Joker Seth Rollins. With the laugh. So many reincarnations of Seth Rollins. Can Gunther possibly take Seth Rollins away? I don't think he's going to take him away. But I do think that Gunther will beat Seth Rollins. I think it only makes sense with the fact of how Gunther has been on a roll this year. Seth Rollins is going to make it close. But I think Gunther is going to be very motivated. He's very motivated because he wants from Paul Heyman. He wants Paul Heyman. Remember what Gunther said? You owe me more than a handshake. It's more than a handshake that you'll owe me for taking care of this Seth Rollins problem, even though I didn't ask for you to take care of the Seth Rollins problem. I'm going to take care of the Seth Rollins problem for you. It's going to be a brutal match. I don't think it's going to be that long of a match. It's going to be an effective match. And Gunther will take care of that Seth Rollins problem. And when he takes care of that Seth Rollins problem, I think what Paul Heyman, what the payoff to Gunther will be, even though he didn't ask for any help. I think the payoff will be where Gunther is going to demand Brock Lesnar in the ring. And I think that's going to be your next Gunther, Brock Lesnar. That's going to be your next matchup going into be a nice rivalry that you could very well take it into SummerSlam. Probably going to have to take it into SummerSlam if that's in fact the way that they go with the way the contract and the status of Brock Lesnar here, not more there than here. So I think that's something that will kind of lead you into SummerSlam, a good matchup, and Gunther, a good story to tell versus Brock Lesnar. What has Paul Heyman got himself into? My God, Paul Heyman, say a prayer. I don't know how the Beast is going to react to having to fight Gunther. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. This matchup, this rivalry was years in the making that was totally fumbled. Totally fumbled. You had the perfect story, pupil student type of a story. Could have been so simple. You go back those years, or how many, the young Cody Rhodes, when he was first introduced to Randy Orton by Dusty Rhodes. Remember that? They played that clip, right? And Randy Orton's like looking at Cody Rhodes like, this kid. Yeah, Dusty, I'll look after him, no problem. Grab me my coffee and carry my bags, kid. That type of a look. And that's all we needed. He could have gone from there. Cody Rhodes could have been like, look, glad you picked me, Randy Orton. You looked at me like a schmuck years and years ago. But look, I'm not that schmuck anymore. I'm not Stardust. I'm a former CEO of a competing company. Maybe before, not so much. Nonetheless, CEO of a competing company where, Randy, if you ever wanted to leave WWE and you go test the waters, AEW's, I'm sure, going to offer you 10 times fold type of money that you have in WWE. At the very least, what Cody Rhodes did by creating AEW is giving wrestlers options. He has made his name, Cody Rhodes, more important in leaving, established his name, and then he came back. And there was the story, right? There was your story. And instead, I think what happened, for whatever reason, you had good old Pat McAfee just in the background there. Just in the background, and was saying, hey, pick me. Maybe he wasn't. Or Ari, TKO, was saying, hey, Pat McAfee, come on down. We got an idea for you. Pat McAfee, ESPN, even before ESPN, his Pat McAfee show, Eyeballs Upon Eyeballs. He streams on YouTube. Now he's on ESPN. It's all over the map. Tons of eyeballs. And what WWE was thinking? In a match that did not need to be touched, Pat McAfee could sell us tickets. He reaches a huge audience. I mean, think of it. Why else are all these wrestlers going on these like streamers and podcasts? So they get a lot of eyeballs. So they thought, heck, listen, Pat McAfee coming in, this story, Jelly Roll coming into the story is going to help sell tickets for Wrestlemania. And I don't think it's done much of anything. It's just pissed off the fan base. And, and the reason doesn't even make sense why Pat McAfee is there. Pat McAfee is talking about the Attitude Era, when Randy Orton is never in the Attitude Era. It doesn't make sense. He's saying, look, he comes in and he says, listen, watch night 1. Don't watch night 2. It's going to be ass. I just don't understand. It's like you're trying to sell tickets, but you're saying don't watch night 2. It's going to be ass. And he's insulting the wrestling fans, calling them marks. Look, you have heat, right? But then you have And then you have like X-Pac heat. I just think this is completely backfired. Completely backfired. And it wasn't needed. It was a story that was right there. And I mean, I think the word is that, it wasn't even Triple H that, changed the whole kind of focus of the story. Focus of the story now is how wrestling sucks according to Pat McAfee, and Cody Rhodes leads to that suckiness in wrestling. That has become the storyline for this match, where it could have been, teacher student. It was a perfect story, and word is that TKO just completely just dropped in on the story, and this is what they wanted to do. Again, say what you want about the WWE prior, but I don't think anything like this under the old regime of the WWE with Pat McAfee, uh, with with Pat McAfee, ISO Speed, Jelly Roll. I just don't think none of this would be happening under the old regime. Now it's a little bit too wonky and a little bit too crazy, right? So, just to wrap this prediction up, look, Pat McAfee saying, "If I don't win, you won't see me around." Putting in that type of a loop, that type of a stipulation, how are you going to get yourself out of that stipulation? Can you back yourself out of it and down the road? You're really pushing this, 15. Like, Randy Orton wants to break the record, but to break the record, you got to lose still. Like, it doesn't, heck, let me get the 15 title, and then my first opponent, I'm going to lose the title to. Well, why wouldn't you if you I don't know. It's a little bit wacky for me. But nonetheless, I think it's going to be Randy Orton just winning this over Cody Rhodes. He wins his 15. We'll see, because Pat McAfee also brought up the name of Roman Reigns. We'll see. Interesting how it's going to play out after the victory of Randy Orton, which I feel will happen. What will be the involvement of Pat McAfee in all this? Is there a bigger plan that we're not seeing involving Pat McAfee in the WWE and Randy Orton? Look, time will tell. But I think that's something that the WWE already has planned. So give me Randy Orton winning his 15th championship for WrestleMania Night 1. With that being said, after he wins his championship, I would not be shocked if you have if this leads to a down the road, if this leads to a heel turn by Cody Rhodes. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that, in fact, does lead to some type of a think it's brewing. I think a heel turn is definitely brewing there for Cody Rhodes. Fought Randy Orton, night one. Gonna head into night two here, and before we head into night two, we're gonna take a quick break. Quick break. Gonna leave a video for you in the background, and that video will be about Darby Allin and my thoughts on Darby Allin winning the championship for AEW. I'm gonna put it on in the background, and I'll be right back after a short break. Dana's being a sports fan. It's Thomas Sports Show. Talking about some of that wrestling, some of that AEW. Wow. Wow. Many ways to look at it, as always, with every situation, not just not just sports. Check out the IWC. They have two, different takes on it. The way I look at it is, if you wanted to create a buzz, did you do it? Now, very simple what I mean by that. It's okay, it's WrestleMania weekend, and you're talking about something that's every podcast's, topic of discussion, first topic of the day. If you a fair podcast should be Darby Allin being a champion. The thing with that, though, is will it be quickly forgotten? Being that it is WrestleMania weekend. You have 2 nights of wrestling to cover WrestleMania, so will it be quickly forgotten? It's AEW's Mick Foley moment that WWE had many of years ago. The thing, though, is how I lean towards it. Why? If you do it now, when Darby Allin last year was on that high, was on this momentum, Darby Allin, for majority of this year, up until last week, was cold. And a feud against the War Dogs. Okay. Well, thank you. And this reign of MJF. Something that AEW needed. SM the champion. Look how the ratings are with MJF as a champion. And okay, that's one thing. But how they even portrayed it on TV, like this was supposed to be a kind of like a item, or how it was portrayed, where pretty much was doing this match at the fact, let's rephrase it, the fact that Sting and friends there to a great Darby Allin kind of made it like, all right, well, kind of made it like this was a last deal type of a thing. Like, we really didn't even know if this match was going to go on. And out of nowhere, there is Darby Allin's whole conglomerate of friends. Like, it's almost like they knew it was going to happen. Really didn't go on, kind of element of surprise. I don't know. That's just me. But look, one thing you gotta give Tony Khan credit for is he's going balls to throwing us all up in the air, and he's going for it. He's going for it. He's gunning for it. And, well, we'll see how this works out. I hope all is well. Hi, I'm back. What do you think about Darby Allin, huh? I had to refuel my. There was a lot of talking on night one. What do you guys think? Night one or night two will be better? Me personally, I'm intrigued really um with night one. I'll be honest. Really intrigued. Let me give you night two predictions. By the way, barbecue chips, really underrated, really good. Okay. Okay. No particular order. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. I know what a lot of people are saying if you read on this dirt sheet, but I might have a little bit of different viewpoint on it. So hear me out. With Obafemi and Brock Lesnar, some might say that this is like, what match are you looking forward to? Like a lot of people, from what I've heard, just listening to like Busted Open, everyone's like, oh, that they wanna see Obafemi versus Brock. Like that's one might argue that that's the real main event, right? That's the main event. everyone, it, everyone always says, when they say, "Oh, this guy or this guy or this guy should be brought up." But okay, if you bring them up, or what are they doing exactly? What are you going to have them doing? What's the storyline? You know, who's your first? You got to have these things figured out. You can't just. Usually, if you just bring up someone, it doesn't bode well. For Obafemi, they clearly have a plan. Clearly have a plan. That being said, by the way, are you doing the? By the way, are you? Are you? Now, come on. You could be honest. Who doesn't do the overstrut or something like that, right? But the thing is, this is going to be a match, in my opinion. It's not going to be a short match. Not going to be a long match. Not going to be a short match. It's going to be somewhere in between. Maybe a 7-minute match. You got to have them playing the hits. Power bombs, suplex. Meat just going after meat. But Brock Lesnar is going to sneak out a victory. I'll tell you why. If you have, this is this is my logic. If you have Obafemi, if you're gonna have Obafemi defeat Brock Lesnar, then Obafemi, what's next for him? You just defeated Brock Lesnar. You should be getting a title match. You should be now up in the main card stratosphere, fighting for the World Heavyweight Championship. You defeated Brock Lesnar and they're going to make you go, you know, face, uh, what? Face, Ray Phoenix? No. You should be at the top of the card with the main players. And that's why I'm a little bit on Obafemi winning. I would like to see him hang out in the mid card, work his way up, and then be in that main event picture. If you're defeating Brock, you should be in the main event picture. I don't think, not that he's not ready, but I would like to see Oba, kind of get his feet wet still. So it's going to be close. It's going to be close, but I do see Brock Lesnar sneaking out the victory over Obafemi. Next up, Intercontinental Championship. We really did not see, really know, not much behind this. It's kind of made last minute. Penta versus Javon Evans versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Rusev versus Rey Mysterio. This match was already put together late, and even later than that was apparently Rey Mysterio came back out of his cleared to come back to wrestle after he was injured. How about Did you catch when Dom Mysterio was complaining that his deadbeat dad was in the thing? He was trying to say that he shouldn't be there. And Nick Aldis said, "No, screw you, Dom. Your father's Rey Mysterio. He's going to be in the title picture." Same regards to I don't know about you guys, but on the road to WrestleMania, to me, it looked like when it was evident that Drew McIntyre was not going to be the championship going into WrestleMania. I thought he would have faced Nick Aldis. That's what kind of it looked like it was going that way. But who knows? Maybe it was, and last minute plans changed. Man, I'm a Nick Aldis fan. I'm a huge NWA fan. You know, NWA can't get out of its own way sometimes. That's another story. But when Nick Aldis was champion, man, he had that faction with him with Camille, and by the way, nice to see Camille finally get back. Finally, AEW's giving her something. Camille and Vladimir, and it was a good faction that all this had. And that was not too long ago. Not too long ago. Yeah, I mean, with this championship match, no, I'm glad to see Rusev is in there. He's getting something to do. Penta, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee versus JJ McDonough. Look, um, Javon Evans, I could see Javon Evans. They're really putting in a lot of um, stock behind Javon Evans, trying to be recruited, actually, if I'm not mistaken, by um, Kofi and his pal. Charles Grayson Wallace still upset that he's not an official member, right? But give me Penta winning. Javon Javon Evans makes it close. It's going to be highlighted a lot in this match. Get some shine in on him. Gives Penta a run for his money, but Penta retains. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. Uh, these two, what has ever happened to the 30-day rule in defending your championship? Because Jade Cargill has done none of that. Has he defended her championship? I'm sorry, as I'm munching on chips. I am hungry. She has not defended her championship at all. She should have been stripped like 3 or 4 times already. I mean, just recently, she was on TV, but was she defending her championship? I don't think it definitely had to have been a stretch where she did not defend her title within 30 days. I'll give him kudos with what Jade Cargill did as far as social media. Kind of, I guess, added some realism into the storyline. And apparently, or the dirt sheets say that, like legit, apparently Jade Cargill has some problems backstage or rubs people the wrong way, legit backstage. Possible. I mean, these are all alpha competitors, right? So I can see that happening. Jade Cargill recently has established her group of baddies, so to speak, and BFAB and Meechin. They constantly get knocked around. They've been knocked around so many times. Do you find them effective as the baddies for Jade Cargill? Are they a threat, or is Rhea Ripley going to be shaking in her boots when BFAB and Meacham are in the corner for Jade Cargill? I don't think so, but um, with 3-on-1, I don't think Rhea Ripley could stop Jade Cargill. But again, it's Meechin and and BFAB as the baddies for Jade Cargill. Um, Io Sky, remember Io Sky was in the storyline as well, and it's a shame that Io Sky is not in any of this um, card. But I think that Io Sky feels like she was almost pushed to the side by accident. That this is, she was just pushed to the side, and Io Sky is going to come out to try to help Rhea Ripley, and it's going to backfire. And Rhea Ripley and Io Sky are going to become a thing. Jade Cargill retains. Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. That's your next big matchup that will develop because of WrestleMania. Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Well, that Trick, talk about an entrance, right? You could be horrible in everything that you do, I think. But if you have a dope entrance like Trick Williams, you're set. Horrible wrestler. Oh, look, no, I'm not saying horrible wrestler. I'm saying you could be a horrible wrestler and be over as hell just because of your team. So having an effective team goes a long way, and being able to speak on the microphone goes a long way. I understand you had to put Sammy, I understand you wanted to get Sami Zayn in on the card, but, I think Trick Williams versus, let me phrase this. I think Sami Zayn defeating Carmelo Hayes was not the right way to go. There was a storyline there as well. Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams. Everyone knows that Trick Williams was initially just a hype man for Carmelo Hayes, in essence. The storyline, and I know this is for the United States Championship, so God forbid we have a decent storyline. But that storyline was there where you know Carmelo Hayes kind of took Trick Williams under his wing and he taught him everything that he knows. And now both are in the big times. You tell me that wasn't one? Well, a perfect story. This is another short reign for Sami Zayn. See Trick Williams winning the championship. Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. I feel like this match did not get, it did, but it didn't really get that much. I don't know. Didn't get that much. You might argue that the story has been generating for months upon months, but I don't know. It just kind of, it's like more could have been done to build up this feud because it feels like it should be a bloodbath with how long these two were a thing in Judgment Day. But to me, it just feels like a regular match, a regular exhibition. Maybe because they didn't, I don't know. Maybe because they didn't inform us of it or reminded us of it. Uh, Word is that it's going to be Demon Finn Balor versus Dominic. Demon Finn Balor. No, it's Demon Finn Balor. It's, I think, definitely going to be him defeating Dominic. If it's regular Finn Balor, I could see just Dominic just try to get out as quickly as possible, if that makes sense. But let me rephrase that. If it's regular Finn Balor wrestling Dominic, what I could see happening is Dominic eking out the victory with a pull of the tights or something to that effect, where he is, in fact, once a cheater, always a cheater. Expect for that to happen. Mass matchup. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Look, Roman Reigns, this has gotten personal. This is a personal story. Personal story. And it's got all the bells and whistles. Roman Reigns called CM Punk old. Oh man. Don't call another person old. That hurts. Though they're only 7 years old. 7 old. There's a 7 year age difference between the two. Is that much of a difference? Yeah. Might be a little bit of a stretch. A little bit of a stretch. CM Punk has brought up Roman Reigns' dead father. Roman Reigns has, CM Punk has called Roman Reigns' cousins just his basic lapdog and yes men. Lapdog and yes men. And going back to just the respect that CM Punk showed Roman Reigns, one might argue, he didn't apologize. He did not apologize. Did he get his receipt after Roman Reigns put him through the table? Is that enough? Is there anyone else that will be appearing to go up against CM Punk and helping out Roman Reigns? Roman Reigns has come a long way from sucky sucky quack quack or or shucker and succotash rather to where he is right now. Read somewhere that the amount of tension between these two, it's hard keeping was, it very big tension, and supposedly they legit hate each other. Legit hate each other. But again, that's what makes them who they are. Hmm. Again, it's a very personal matter. Who's going to run between CM Punk and Roman Reigns? Is the old guy going to win it? CM Punk? Again, I keep coming back to that. You're old. There's a 7 year difference, and CM Punk hasn't been wrestling for like 10 years or 8 years when he came back. So it's, I just cannot see CM Punk winning. Gonna be close. Gonna be a good matchup. Gonna be a good WrestleMania, I think. Gonna be a very good card. That being said, Roman Reigns will win. Interesting to see if there'll be any correlation between Roman Reigns and Randy Orton and Pat McAfee. But it's going to be a clean victory down the middle by Roman Reigns. Very interesting match. Be a good WrestleMania. I like that. Was just trying to think there if there anything else I wanted to say. Danhausen, John Cena, Danhausen and John Cena, Roman Miz, John Cena. Yep, add Mr. Wilson there in some segments. It will be definitely entertaining with Danhausen being announced and all the other secrets that they may have up their sleeve. So I hope all is well. Enjoy WrestleMania. Enjoy WrestleMania weekend. All hail to our new champion. Totals one's up for Roman Reigns. This has been the Thomas Sports Show. Clean Pin is the name of the podcast.